I'd say we're going to see the squeeze fade quite a bit from these two today.
I thought I had a fair chance, but maybe 1 in millions. Did I complete 180? No, I'm going there anyway. I thought I had a fair chance.
Welcome to the Squeeze Fade podcast. My name is Austin Anderson. I'm joined by my co-host Dustin Arnold. 11:22 p.m. This could get spicy tonight.
Yeah, man. It's late in the evening. I'm thrilled because it is National Frozen Yogurt Day. And I've been waiting to congratulate you. And we didn't get to chat
were a
today.
Froyo guy.
So, well, it was just at daycare. I saw that was topic of the day, and with your roots, man, it's well worth congratulating.
I know my Sweet Frog frozen yogurt days. You know, in the frog suit, just trying to get people to buy some Froyo, man.
That builds character.
Jeez, build something. I don't know what it was. This is the third episode, man. We got a good agenda tonight. We're gonna touch on the new, I guess, golf ball related information that came out from the USGA, but more from the lens of we've had conversations a lot about, you know, your feelings on section tournaments and even at the Barn Club, and kind of how that golf ball would make a difference going with your tournament. So touch on that, and then we're going to just try to relive some golf trips. We're going to try to figure out, where did we play, when did we play it, what happened, what stories happened, and all that. So
all the good stuff.
Pumped to get into that. Let's kick it over to you, because if everyone didn't see this news, they're essentially kind of pausing the rollout of this new golf ball. So originally it was supposed to be new golf ball comes out for the professionals, and then for the rest of the golf world, like 3 years later. They're putting a pause on all that and potentially going to do everyone 3 years later now, which I think is 2030. So that would mean there's no difference between the pro game and the amateur game. It would all be playing the same golf ball. We got into this conversation because you play in section events. And, you work with junior golfers who are playing AJGA and all that. So it's so hard to determine that line. So what are your thoughts about, maybe just that golf ball in general and how it would affect kind of your world?
Yeah. I mean, my fear is always having different golf balls, right? Is across, I understand the amateur to professional is a completely different level in most sports, but in golf with the PGA of America professional, there's a little bit of a gray line, right? And my thought was always, if I'm going out and playing with buddies or on a golf trip, or, just locally with some friends, do I play with a regular ball? Do I play with a pro ball with, reduced numbers? I don't know where that line is. And then going to section events and our local section events and pro-am events with a regular golf ball. And then you go to qualifier events and the national qualifier events. Are those different types of golf balls? Do you have to prepare different numbers? It is just always a lot of, there's a lot of convolution out there. There's a lot of information that isn't truly understood and relayed. And so that was always my fear is personally, what do I play and how do I prepare? And then for the amateur game and collegiate game, same thing, right? At what point do you start practicing and playing with that professional golf ball? And so there's just some things around it that I'm not a huge bifurcation fan. So yeah, now we'll see how things pan out with the new decision, though.
Do you feel like because the one thing that made me kind of upset is that people are like, oh, they're going to be like reducing the amount of distance someone can hit a golf ball, not understanding that it's already, monitored and reduced. Like they're just changing the speed as which it's basically, monitored by. Like they're upping that speed and lowering the spin to account for the new speed in golf and all that. But are you on the side of the golf ball? Are you on the side of the club? Like where are you at in this whole trying to get the game back to where it should be?
Yeah, I think, I mean, your ideas on the putter, number one, and we have to dive into that quickly.
Dude,
Must play a blade putter on tour and to play golf. In Austin's opinion, I'm a lab guy now. I recently converted, but
I saw something on Twitter the other day, that they said blade putters should be mandatory for kids. Like you should not get the right to play a lab until, you've gone through the grind of
Yep.
playing a blade putter.
Yep. I mean, we probably both started with blade irons. They
Yep.
were way too long for us. We didn't have the luxury of, kids clubs and the right weights and things. So yeah, I wish I had my son's blade putter that I could show you. It was more of a collectible piece, but I know we'll be ripping some putts with that bad boy. It is a blade, so we'll get him
Good.
started off right.
Proud
But
of you.
yep. But no, I think club is a big one, right? I think a lot of the issues with golf ball are a professional is going to find that distance regardless. They have the technology, they have the the tour vans out there, they have the ability to change week to week with grass conditions. They're going to optimize everything they can and get everything they can out of the golf ball. So maybe it, ultimately is a few yards shorter, but is that really going to affect the issue at hand with, course length and the courses that they can play in general in events? And I think our discussions around driver and lowering the CC of the head size, making it harder to hit, optimizing, good contact, that's what's going to help the game. Because if these guys continue to hit it, the distances they hit it, and it is unsustainable, and they are going to keep getting faster. I mean, the kids are swinging insane out of college now, so it's curious to see where things go. But I think maybe it's a mixture of a little bit of golf ball and then prioritizing that contact piece for the best players in the world, which it should be. And then you have some amateur options, CC size heads and maybe irons, designs could change a little bit. But try to keep that golf ball similar and make it fun for the amateurs to play, but still be able to lower that distance on tour and bring in some really cool older courses.
Something I thought about kind of as you're talking was it feels like some amateurs look at the professional game with how far they're hitting it and how easy it is now to hit with, these massive heads and forgiveness and all that. And they translate that into, oh, I must need to now play the back tees. I need to do all this because
Yep.
I'm hitting it so far now. When in reality, they're not. We see that when we worked at TrackMan, like, oh, I hit the ball X amount outside. Why is it not going this far inside? And because you weren't downwind in the middle of summer where the ball's rolling, 60 yards. But
Yeah.
I thought about, last summer I was playing golf and rolled up. It was, like public golf is. It's backed up. It takes 6 hours. Everyone's playing the tips. People are taking 6 practice swings. And we watched a group tee off on a par 5, playing all the way back. And I don't think out of the 4, I don't think any of them reached the ladies' tee box off the tee. One guy, topped like 2 balls left. One guy popped one up. And I don't know. Maybe it has no correlation, but for some reason, I feel like with all the distance talk, it's now that's all everyone cares about. And if maybe the drivers were smaller for even amateurs, they would have to realize, okay, I got to hit in the center of the face. That means, now the course can start talking about, hey guys, like we're going to set it up to where the game is more in alignment with what the clubs you're playing now. It's not all about playing the tips, but that's an American thing too. It's just like we got to play play the backs and all that. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? That's
Yeah, I
kind
mean,
of
I had a conversation today with a member at the club, and we it got a little blocky in there, and we were talking about how the one thing that truly isn't obtainable to the professional level for most amateurs is the distance, right? Like, yes, you might be able to hit it 290 one time, or maybe you're consistently 290, but the top 10% are hitting at 330, right? I mean, they're blasting it out there. Most people on the planet aren't ever going to get to that, even just amateur professional level. That's a skill set that's very hard to obtain. And yet when somebody does hit it further, they think, oh, I should be a pro. And they think if I could hit it further, I would be a pro. And so him and I were talking about the Michael Block, and if I could hit it as far as Rory, things might have been different. And that's very rarely. I mean, it is true to the extent of you could be a better player at some level if you hit it that far. But the things that we can do that a professional can do, we can be great putters, right? Like anybody in the world can be a great putter. You just go practice and work on the craft. You can be a great wedge player. You can be a great short game player, mid iron player. Like you can do all of those things and compensate for that lack of distance and become a great amateur player. But a lot of people focus on, I just want to hit the ball far. And so I think that's just a human thing, right? Is we, we're primal. We want to hit thing far, right?
right.
I say that in lessons a lot. Like I want to hit ball far, and it's just the human nature is to swing hard and try to crush it, and feel like we're professionals in that moment. And reality is we'd have a ton more fun if we went and played that one tee up, right? On a lot of our trips, we play the one tee up. I think we'll get into that with Laurel Valley and how we started and adjusted there. But and we're PGA professionals. We're longer than average. You are, longer than tour average. And it's still more enjoyable for us to play a round of golf when we're a tee up most of the time. There's
Yeah.
some experiences that are different. But yeah,
Yeah, no,
distance is a
100%.
tough thing.
Yeah, it's tough, and like you meant, you're spot on with it. If the amateur game would realize that course management and 100 yards and in, if you're in a bunker, just get it on the green and have a putt.
Yep.
Like all that leads to going from 95 to 85 or 89 to 81 versus hitting it 300, 305, 310. And it's just also a misconception of, I mean, how many people do you run into and they say they hit the ball 300 or they're, hey,
A lot.
I hit it 280, I hit it 290. It's like,
Yep.
not, you probably don't, really. I mean, because even 290 is still like, I mean, tour average, what, a few years ago was 279 before it really jumped up,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was
Yeah.
right in that 280 range, and I think now it's still 295,
Right.
sub 300. So, yeah, I mean that's carry, right? Their rollout's different, but and I think that's another thing is carry and rollout get mixed up a lot.
Yeah.
People think that oh, I hit it 180 with a 6 iron. It's like, yeah, you hit it 140 and then it rolled 40 yards because the angle was low. But
Right.
yeah, I mean it's so yeah, distance is it's an interesting thing because a lot of people want it and they think that that's the fix to the game. Another conversation today was talking about how almost every evaluation that I've ever done at Golf Tech, at other indoor golf teaching places, at golf clubs, everybody told me I need to improve the driver. Every single person. There might have been 2 to 5 that said otherwise, or thought that other areas of the game needed more help, but most people always get back to that driver, and it's like, well, your goal was to shoot 5-10 strokes lower, and you could obtain that instantly by getting better at putting and going from 45 putts around or 40 putts around to, 35, 36. And then, not flubbing 5 chips around and,
Yep.
and there's your 10 strokes.
Yep.
So yeah, it's fun to work with people, from a lesson perspective and watch them understand that and make those changes and start to see the improvements to their score when it's not just focused on hitting the ball as far as possible, right?
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. And yeah, my side of it is I think the driver head needs to go smaller, and
Agreed.
I think that would make the game more fun for everyone. And because you hear it all the time, like just like you said, oh, I need help with the drive. I'm a good chipper and putter. Like I can chip and putt. It's like, okay, let's go.
Yep.
Let's go see first. And but that's huge. I would love to see that, especially at the professional game. Like, this is not a professional PGA Tour podcast, but at the professional game,
Clipped.
they are. It would add so much more, of a variable to that tee shot. Like, and their dispersion is so much smaller than ours, right? Like that's another thing. The
Insane.
amateur game, our
Yep.
dispersion is, 180 degrees, and theirs is 20. And so they can hit it, and swing full out and still not lose a golf ball, which we would obviously lose and have a penalty stroke and all that. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm definitely on the side of the golf club, but we're PGA members. That's a stakeholder that is obviously against all that because they are partners with TaylorMade and partners with Titleist. And, they're embedded in the equipment game. They're embedded in, selling the fun, hit the ball far, ball go far type of mentality now. And so it's the stakeholders in professional game and then what we're a part of are, I think, hurting this too, for the
Yeah.
sake of what they think is entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I think there's some element of, especially young golfers, if you can hit it further, and that's a completely different game. So that golf ball doesn't really relate to a adult amateur or a teenage amateur, but it is fun to hit the ball far, right? Like they don't say drive for show for for no reason, and so there's some element of the ball does need to go further, or especially if the courses are getting longer. Now, if things get dialed back and things get more reasonable, or they really push the play the right tees initiatives, then yes, I think the answer is everybody plays a smaller driver head. Golf ball maybe changes a little bit, but again, not excessively or not changing between different levels. And everybody can have much more fun, but yeah, the current state, and I know this is something you want to talk about, like the fact that the old course is lengthening is asinine.
Yeah.
I think that is, I think we both agree on that we've gone too far. We've hit our limit of where we should be in the game of golf if we feel that the
Yep.
home of golf has to change.
And I know
to
that they've
meet the
done
new
that
game.
previously a little bit. I mean, what
Yes.
number 2 is it? Number 2 when they play the tournament is actually out of bounds.
Yep.
The tee box. Yeah.
Yep.
It's sad. I mean, and we were over there. Like the only defense is wind, and for them, for us, there's a lot of other defenses that
Bunkers
came into
and
play,
rough and
humps
gorse and
yeah,
caddies.
caddies who tell us to aim the wrong direction, and but no, it's I honestly want to. I haven't hit any of the mini drivers that are out yet. Like what's come out? The
TaylorMade, I think, has one.
like
and
they kind of went old school. What with the R7, I think, or it was like a play on the old school quad, R7 quad or whatever. But
Yep.
I want to hit that. I think Titleist has one now, but that may be more of the size that it needs to be, and
Agreed.
see what
Yeah.
happens. What last thing before we move on? What do you think about tee height? That's come up before. Limiting the tee height so that way they can't
Oh,
jack the height
reduce
up so
attack
high, and yep,
angle, and
exactly.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, I play a little longer tee than average just for when it's downwind. And then I, play it quite a bit lower on normal tee shots, but that'd be interesting. And I think no issue with that whatsoever if, it's 1.5 or 2 inches, whatever the they land on. But yeah, you have limits of equipment and fields and other sports, so why not have some equipment limitations on the tee? I fully support that,
Love it.
as long as it's not really short.
Yeah, 100%.
Unless the driver shrinks, and then
I
I'd be
could
up
get
for
behind
that too.
that. I could get behind the mini driver, and I'm definitely going to get behind
Blade putters.
putter length. Putter
Oh,
length has to be
100%.
what, 36 and below, 35. Like,
I think what you said, the shortest club in your bag.
Yep.
Has to be the shortest club in your bag. Whatever your, lob wedge is, if you want to go Bryson and go single link through the wedges, then you get a little longer putter. But yeah, it's got to be the shortest club in your bag.
Yeah, I mean, and
Knock it
putter's the
out.
only one that you can have a blade putter, you have a mallet, a spider, all a lab, like, and dramatically change the look of that club. Whereas like an iron, a blade, a cavity back, like it's still roughly the same look and feel. Like even Bryson's, inventing drivers and stuff, it still is roughly the same type of look. Like it's
View.
not some,
Yep.
insane, type of robotic thing. And then you bring out these,
Yep.
giant lab putters, and it's like, that. I mean, I would keep, hating on
The
lab.
old ping putter, man.
Yeah,
Remember that thing? It was.
I know. What's the was it the Futura or whatever, the Scotty? I mean, it was like, who was the one
Pretty
that
large
used
as
that? Was
well.
that Rick? I mean, Ricky had a Brian Harmon.
Ricky goes through some wild putter selections.
Brian Harmon's putter's huge. Like it just has to stop. I mean, the fact that Akshay uses a broom putter, it all has to stop.
Bernard Longer. I know that's a hot topic of discussion. Pool chalk on top of the
has to be
the putter, and let's see where it's at.
Yep. Right before you tee off, you got to dip the end of your putter in chalk, just like you're about to play some pool, and redo it on starting the back nine. And if there's a blue mark right about here, you're
out.
Done. You're done.
Back to shortest club in your bag.
Good. Well, I like that. I think the next thing we want to touch on, we touched a little bit on episode 1, really like, what is Stymied Golf? What, getting into the squeeze fade, but more of like, what is Stymied Golf, and kind of why did we kind of name our channel, and kind of what we're doing, Stymied Golf, where did that come from? So kick it to you for that, and we'll kind of go back and forth, but that's that's kind of the name of our channel so far.
Yeah, so I think what we're going to talk about the rest of the episode is all tying back to the name of the channel and the foundation for where Stymied Golf came from. But in its simplest form, Austin and I felt stuck in the industry. It was the game was going in a lot of directions. You have, indoor or off-course activities growing faster than on-course activities. You have PGA Tour, Live, PGA of America, all these different organizations that are trying to fight for the spotlight. You have a lot of information out there that is not good around the game, and people don't know what to take in. So we just wanted to come up with a YouTube channel. Stymied Golf's the name, because if you ever felt stuck, if you ever felt behind the ball, there's a way around it, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the game fun. We're trying to highlight the good experiences, talk about some of the bad experiences to stay away from, and learn from, and just continue learning, right? Being curious, asking the questions around the game, maybe not the easy questions, diving into the golf ball and some of these details, and trying to get some headway out there, and bring the game back to some traditional values. And So there's a lot of, things around the name and the channel. And again, we're going to dive into those here shortly with the some of the golf trips and experiences we had. But yeah, I think that's my belief of why we're doing this and what we're doing, and how we're trying to make the game better, and the PGA of America professional better, and a little bit of the old days, right? Bring us together and make us a family. And there's what, 29,000 of us, I think is the number, or maybe 30 something thousand. And it doesn't really feel like the old uh, organization that we used to be a part of. So how
I
can
mean, and
we
we're all hanging
bring that back?
on Don's words. It's been 4 months. Like we haven't.
It's been 4
I mean,
months.
I'm waiting, man. You know. But you're spot on with the history as well. Like Stymied is obviously something that doesn't really, it's not in play anymore. That was an old
1974,
old
RIP.
school thing. And but the PGA industry, the PGA of America industry, in kind of the old school way that we were, told about the industry when we got into it, was all about relationships. And that head pro, or that GM, director of golf, they are the kind of the lifeblood of that whole, the whole club. And
Yep.
the main thing that they did was build relationships with the members. They brought up young assistants. They did that, and that has died a little bit. There's still pockets of that, and that's what we're trying to highlight and find is those guys that are still doing it well. But when you have so many giant corporations come in and own and operate and manage these courses, it just turns into a profit center, and that's all they care about.
Yep.
So we're trying to highlight the ones that are still doing it well, and maybe highlight some ones that are not doing well because they've been taken over by a giant company. So yeah, super excited. I think I don't know how we even came up with it. It just kind of, something we had talked about maybe on golf trips, but that's kind of, yeah, it's interesting how we came up with it for sure.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of texts over a lot of
Yeah.
days. This was months ago. Like, what are we gonna name this channel that we're never gonna start? Right? It was. I think it was before Iowa for sure, and we were talking about filming in Iowa. That was a disaster, but the end result was pretty good. Uh, and so, yeah, it was just, what do we want the name to be? And we threw around a handful of ideas, and it was, we're both traditionalists. Maybe Austin a little bit more with the blade putter, and me going to the days of the lab, even though the original putter was a mallet. We've talked about this. But yeah, it was just that kind of reignites the history around the game, and brings up some fun moments that maybe we never had because we didn't really deal with stymies. But maybe some of our viewers are fond of the stymie memories. And I know we've talked about it in our future trips. That'll definitely be a part of our game. Like, if we ever stymie each other, the stymie is in play.
It's stymied going forward from here
It
on
is
out.
stymied
Yeah.
from here on out. Whether we are playing, the best round of our life, or just the worst round of our life, that
I,
stymie is in play.
I think the first video on our channel needs to be playing hickories and stymied. I mean, that's
Sign me up.
I mean, we may have to
Winter
go to
hickories.
Scotland for that. So
Yeah. Hey, well, we could also Stockholm Golf Club.
yep,
Just an idea.
it's a
Scandinavia is beautiful in the
that's a
summer.
good hickory spot for sure.
Mm-hmm. We have some experience, so
Yeah. Okay, so golf trips. Let's
golf trips,
let's
baby.
get into this. Take us
First one.
to Michigan. I think that's number
That's
one,
the first
right?
time we played golf together. Yep.
Okay.
It was a TrackMan sales meeting, Matt Freelich's house, and we we went out and played the next morning. And yeah, you and I got paired up playing against a couple other guys, and yeah, first tee, cold topped it, me. To be fair, I threw a full pitching session the night before. I probably 90 pitches, just trying to throw as fast as I could, so my arm felt like jello. Come out, cold top it Austin, the Sam Houston Connect, just pumps it right down the middle. I get up, cold top the second ball.
So you're
Um,
you're in your pocket off the first tee.
Hey, I hit that third shot and it was near the green, but not close. And then, yeah, you knocked it to like 7 feet, drained it for birdie, and we were off. It was a hot start.
Yeah, and that's I don't remember the name of the course. It's like your traditional,
It's Club
neighborhood.
Corp, I believe.
Yeah, Club Corp at
Yep.
that time. And I don't think it wasn't invited at that time yet. It was still Club Corp, before they
Yep.
took over. But, your traditional neighborhood, I don't
Yeah, just
yeah.
fun country club. There's
100%.
two 18-hole courses. I think the first one we played was a little more difficult than the second.
Yep.
And yeah, the match did not go well. I can tell you that. My game continued to deteriorate. Austin's game followed in my footsteps quickly. But we also ran into a putter.
I mean, the dude,
the axe.
I think he made there was a 60+ footer that he made that kind of just, I think that ended my day. I was just like, there's nothing.
And that
we
was
can
like
do.
12 or 13.
Yeah.
There's a couple 25, 30 footers made. Pretty much everything inside of 10 feet was made against us. It was tough. But we finished valiantly, had our lunch, and then went out and played against each other in a best ball with Kevin Adeline, who will be on this podcast at some point. I know it. And just had probably the most fun golf experience that could have been had. And giving money away the whole time.
I was partnered up with Kyle, so manager
Butler,
at that time, and we were, that's the typical like ham and egg. I mean, that was just all day. One of us had probably a birdie putt on every hole, and your partner was not helping you out, just in his
giving
own
you reads. He was doubling bets that we were, one in our pocket already on. I wasn't allowed to place bets when I hit a good shot. It was jail, but we fought through it.
I remember that time where he, he's hacking it around. He's not even close to in the hole, and he then chips up, and then he's right behind my ball, no, Kyle's ball, and he just puts it in. Kyle gets a perfect read. Kyle
and
makes it, and then you guys are walking back to the cart, and you sound like an old married couple. Like y'all are you're so mad.
We were, there was a lot of bickering that day.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, I think it was like hole 7. One of us knocked it stiff. We had like a 5-foot birdie putt, and then Austin holes out for eagle from like 170, 180. So the golf gods were not in our corner that day.
No, it was good trip though. I mean, was it the summer? I guess it was summer. Yeah, summer in Michigan.
Summer, it was like August.
Yeah, summer in Michigan was great. I mean, nothing. The only other thing to add there is Kevin and I played American Dunes on the way to the trip. I flew into Chicago. He was living in Chicago, so we drove, up to what is it? Is it Brighton, Michigan, or Rough?
That's where the meeting was. In that area.
So that general area. Played American Dunes, got the whole experience where, all the, the things.
One, that's a jack course, right?
Yeah.
Jack
course,
design.
which we'll get into that.
Yeah.
It was okay. But the entire atmosphere around there was awesome. Like with the American flags everywhere. I mean, a giant, like 100-foot American flag as you're hitting into 18 green. They give you a history kind of lesson off the first tee of kind of why this was started. They give you, you actually stop at, I think we stopped at one point because it was time for the national anthem or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I do know that Kevin hit the American flag with his approach shot into 18.
That sounds about right.
He's in the tree and he hits it well, and you hear the sound of the club, and all of a sudden you hear, and it just like hits the flag. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So you can tell Jack
Oh,
designed the
man.
course because, you know, if you're
Every
not
hole
hitting a
went left to
fade,
right.
if you're not
Yep.
hitting a fade, you're
Well,
toast.
that's why you didn't like it, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Well, at
Your
that
ball
point,
does
you know,
not go
I
right
was
much.
still, I mean, I'm still not hitting a squeeze fade as well as I should, but at that point, I really was not hitting a squeeze fade. I was hitting
Oh,
it
yeah.
the other way.
Makes it
But
tough.
but no, that was good. It was good to get it, you know, just stop there. And that, I mean, that was one that I had really no history on or anything like that, but it was great to be out there and kind of why they're doing, you know, why they have that place and why it exists. And so, yeah, good trip.
Yeah.
Where do we
What
go
was
next?
next? Yeah, pretty sure it was Vegas was the next one.
Okay.
That was you had meetings in Vegas, and so a couple of us just happened to be in the state the same time. So we said, why not play golf around that?
I mean, I don't know if
And
there's anything better than you know, work meetings and bringing your golf clubs. I mean, that's
exactly.
I mean, so
And there's a casino right around the corner.
we played Chimera Golf Club, which is
Yep.
you know, was my first TrackMan range sale back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Got them dialed in. Their driving range was, the landing area was all turf, and it was pieces of a football field that was torn down, that they took the old turf, and so it's like 10-yard lines, random
Yep.
places, and so that was
I mean, it's
great.
fun though. Like
Yeah.
it's a fun looking range. It was fun to hit balls on.
Yep.
We sat in on that meeting as well, while you were giving the demo and training, and it adds to the experience, right? It's not your typical green grass like open field. It was there's some targets, and
Yep.
it just it made it a little more relaxed and more fun to be had than just I'm out here grinding
Yep.
and banging balls.
That's a great, when you got a little downhill kind of slope to a range, you got a view of, I don't know if you could see the actual skyline of Vegas, but you could see
Remember.
pretty far.
Yeah.
So that was great. I mean, we got to try out TrackMan range play. You and Mark actually teed it up, I think at maybe even Chimera or St. Andrews. I can't remember, but you were playing virtual golf on the range,
Yep.
which was awesome. I do remember
Yep.
that. And then we got into the course, which was, I don't even know how to describe Chimera Golf Club, but it was you know, what did you think of it first time out there?
Quirky,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of quirky holes. It's more of like a resort style. Things kind of feed where they need to make the golf course more fun. But yeah, it was a good time. I would 100% do it again. If I'm out in Vegas, I would go out there and play as an option. It was really affordable. I think you know, it's not one of the exclusive clubs or overly priced clubs out there. So yeah, I thought it was just overall a good time. And then, you know, I think the most fun we had was after the round talking to Outlaw, right? The ranger, the marshal out there, just spit and skull at our feet the entire conversation. And
The
the
Outlaw,
stories he
man.
had, that it just that's the you know, the fun of golf trips is like the people you meet and the conversations you have, and just makes the game what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, if 50% of the stories were true, then it was still
It
great.
was still
Like,
unbelievable.
yeah, I mean,
Yep.
the John Daly
He
stuff, you
got
know,
John Daly on
apparently
liquor, baby.
he was the guy that that switched John Daly from beer to like whiskey or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, the Outlaw, I mean, that, you know, when you run into, especially like rangers or outside, you know, outside ops or caddy masters, like those are the type of people that the stories they have are are just incredible.
Usually incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Um,
again, you never know real or fake, right?
yeah,
You don't
that's
know how truthful some of those
right.
are, but man, it just adds to the experience every time. Just hearing some of those cool stories and backgrounds.
So after Chimera, we were actually supposed to play Southern Highlands, I believe.
That was one of the courses in
One
the
of the
mix.
courses we had, we kind of, you know, didn't happen. Let's just put it that way. There was some people who promised certain things, but you know, happens.
Some logistical issues.
Yes, yeah, there you go. And then so we went out to Wolf Creek, And
And that was, to be fair, that was part of the plan.
It was.
That was day 2 the whole time. But I think this was the foundation, the true, like, day 1 of us going, okay, the golf industry is in a weird place. I don't even remember 2019, 2020, what year that was. But
yeah, because I remember Wolf Creek from the Tiger Woods video games.
Tiger
right?
Woods,
like
baby.
That was my. I had no idea, never been there, never even thought about going there. Just played it on the video games.
Didn't even know it was real
right.
for most of my life.
That was made.
Thought it was
made
just
up.
a fake. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, take us to Wolf Creek. What did you think when we got out there and kind of?
Well, do you want me to go back and then tell you the full story, or do you want to start on property?
I want the give me the full. Yeah, give me the full story.
Full story, baby. So I shoot over an email. I don't remember who the professional was, and just said, hey, and this is very common in the PGA professional world. But hey, my name's Dustin Arnold, PGA professional, work with TrackMan. Myself and another PGA professional and another TrackMan rep are going to be out. Just interested in getting a tee time if you have PGA rates, industry rates, and just curious about, chatting with somebody and trying to get a tee time. And I was met with an email that said, we don't have PGA rates. It's $285. Let us know what time you want. No, nothing, right? No semantics. It was just straight business. And so I, I think we reached back out, and there was like, well, this time of year, maybe we can work something out. Just book the time and we'll figure it out on site is kind of where things were left. And then we get on site, and it was 285, 300, whatever the full boat rate was. And we were not met with anyone. We asked to talk to the head professional. The head professional wasn't there. A door closed shortly after that. And our pure joy of playing a place that we grew up, idolizing and again, not even thinking was real. And the excitement was just met with instant, like, devastation of, man, yeah, the it can be rough. And some of those old days of, reciprocity and just, hey, come on out, you're a PGA member. Those seem to be dying dying quickly. And yeah, I mean, the golf course was incredible. We caught it in the off season. There was the first year, I think they said, that they hadn't overseeded, so it was running.
They were giving it a break, I think. Yeah, so it was just, it was nuts.
It was tough. It was already a difficult golf course. We played all the way back. If you don't know, it's about a 200-yard walk, 300-yard walk straight uphill on almost every hole to go to the back tees. So it was a hike. It was hot that day. But yeah, the golf course was everything I expected. It was a ton of, downhill, uphill. It's something I would play, every 5-10 years just because of how cool it was. But I think after that experience, we all just said, this is it. This is a one-timer. Enjoy it. We're not buying merch. We're not buying, spending money in the shop. It was our way of protesting their decisions.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when we go places, and a lot of people do, you try to buy merch, you try to support the shop, you try to, have lunch after.
Especially in pro-owned shops, if they own the shop, like, you're trying to spend money and support them and thank them for letting you out.
Yeah, in a place like Wolf Creek, I mean, it's a remote area. Like, we're not, most PGA pros don't find themselves near Wolf Creek, more than once a year, if that, right? I mean, I haven't been even close to that since, and I probably won't. So that's a lot of my issue is, I can see how some places could get abused. And, if you live in a major city and you're calling out to the top private club every week and trying to get on, that's where you have to have some emotional intelligence to not do that and be a good pro. But, this is probably once in a lifetime that we're going to go to Wolf Creek. And to be met with that kind of just who cares? Like you're not a pro at a club, so we can't give to him anything in return. And that was one of the issues we had at TrackMan. I mean, we would spend hours working with golf pros, training them, training their staff. They have a new staff come on board. We go back out. We get them up to speed with all the new features in the software. And a lot of times, I mean, there were good ones, of course, right, that let you play, but there were also high-end private clubs that, you don't have anything to give me. You didn't give me a discount on the unit,
You're not
sorry.
giving me free clubs. You're not giving
Right.
me golf balls, merch. Like, there's no way that you can compensate me for a round of golf, and so you're not welcome.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, maybe that's been a characteristic in the game for longer than we know, and but it just seems since 2020, 2021, it's definitely gone further in the, what are you going to give me if you want to get out?
Yep.
And I want the days of old where it was like, the PGA club, like these are my buddies. And again, that's not saying, hey, you should be able to go play Augusta, every
Right.
year or even once, but it's there's a certain level of like, hey, come on out, have a good time. You're part of the membership. You're part of the brotherhood of
Right.
PGA, and
Especially if you're
it's
traveling in too, if you
yeah,
reach out, say, hey, I'm not even from the state. I'm traveling in on a work trip.
yep,
I totally get it if you live in the same city and you're kind of hitting up the pro all the time. Totally get that. But you
mm-hmm,
mentioned, that 2020, 2021, the COVID golf boom, now everyone is working, there's 800 people on the golf course. It feels like every day. You have these giant organizations that now are owning the golf courses and they don't care. They
yep,
half the time they don't even they've gotten rid of the PGA Pro, because they just want to hire three people to check you in and spend money elsewhere. So that's
yep,
we're yeah, I think we still, I mean, on our Iowa trip, we found, a awesome, I mean, your history there, great
yep,
pro, great, GM and all that. So they're still out there, even at Whispering Pines where we worked, like, Chris Rowe, great pro,
yep.
old school pro. But yeah, so yeah, to echo your thoughts about Wolf Creek, the course was insane. I had an insane almost hole out turned into the worst shot I've ever hit because the
Oh my gosh, 13.
13, 13's
Oh,
a
gosh, that was
drivable kind of
the
drivable
most
hole
fun I've
like
ever had watching you hit a golf
oh
ball.
dude, it was yeah, it kind of dogleg right and so we're trying to cut the corner, drive the green, what I'm just short left
You hit it.
probably.
No, I think you hit it over the green, and you were back left
Hmm,
of the green. I hit it short left and had like an insane flop shot that I had to hit to get it anywhere close, and I hit it really close. And then you hit the perfect shot. It
yep.
rolled like half an inch from the hole, stopped, and then just gained speed and 80 yards.
I mean, I think it finally stopped probably 120 yards from the green, and the next
It
group
was
was driving up, and we just left. Like
left it.
it's just not,
Donation.
yeah, not gonna get that one. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, so good trip. I think after that, was it Dallas for us for a
I believe so.
regional
Dallas
meeting?
or Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I think Dallas at it was Dallas and Shady Oaks. I mean, we were fortunate enough to play out there. Kyle, my boss at the time, had a long history out there. I think they have 3 or 4 TrackMan bays.
Yep.
And I know the history part was huge for you out there.
Oh yeah. I love the history of the game. Big Hogan fan. Favorite book is The Match. About him and Byron playing against some amateurs, Kenny, and so it's that scene, where he kind of retired and the course he played and in his elderly days, and his locker that they, kept preserved with all his items in it. The clubhouse burned down, so they memorialized that and had some other items throughout the clubhouse, and I love that. I mean, every historic golf course I go to, I try to tour the clubhouse and see all those things in there and take it in, and that was definitely one of the best ones just because of my fondness for him.
Yep, 100%. And I don't remember. I mean, I know that we hit it on the renovation. I believe like we were after they renovated it, or maybe one of the
It
nines.
was it was in the middle
Okay.
because they were redoing the bunker on like 10 still, but that was the OCM group, right? And they got sent back to Australia during COVID,
Yep.
and that was one of the courses they were working on, and so they just had to kind of stop. And that was maybe a year after they had stopped, and they came shortly after and finished the renovation. But yeah, we saw it. It was pretty good shape. It was another kind of off season, so the grass was dormant, but the golf course was impeccable. Like
Yep.
the layout, the views, the conditions for even that time of year. It was unbelievable.
And they had a
And we played
spot.
a few others that week too.
Yeah, we played. And they also had a spot out there. Was it called? I don't know if it's called the Hogan Nine, or it's that area where members can go out and just basically do whatever you want, practice,
Yep.
drop ball. That was.
I wish
We've
we'd
seen
have
that
done
at a
that.
few places that we've been to, and that really gets me. Like if I was a member somewhere, I'm looking for that. Be able to
Hmm.
just go out, drop a few balls. Just kind of just meander around, right? Like
Yep.
you don't have to commit to a full round. So that was huge. We played Stevens Park,
Yep.
classic,
Had a
historic,
ton of fun out there.
downtown
Great
views,
views. Yeah.
public course, very accessible, not very expensive at all. I mean,
Yep.
for a course in that good a shape, I mean, I think it was probably $80 maybe on a weekend. Nothing too crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I had the chance to play Stevens Park quite a bit when I lived in Dallas, and it's so fun.
Yeah, what I was surprised about was pace of play. I mean, we played quickly. We were on a timeline that day, and we got it in almost 4 hours. And yeah, like the pro out there. That was another just great pro experience. Like we got there early. We had that conversation with them. They did not have TrackMan, but they were big fans, and we talked about junior golf and how that's making the game better, and how they're trying to make the game better. And it was just one of those, welcoming, PGA experiences, right? Hey, you guys are PGA members. Thanks for coming out. It just, yeah, we felt welcome. We felt like that was one of those great experiences,
Yeah.
right?
It's such a cool spot because you're like embedded in the city, and so you get out of
Hmm.
your car, you take a step and you're on the putting green, the practice putting green. The clubhouse is small. There's no
Yep.
driving range. You hit into a net, and then you're right on the first tee. Like it's very intimate, very the course is not long at all, but it's got some quirk to it. Like I think 10 is a very weird par five. There's
Yep.
another blind hole on the back that always kills me. One's a great hole, like kind of just down, going towards the road. Number two is that really big drop par three right next to the road there. Like that's a great hole.
Yep.
Um, yeah, no, every time I go to Stevens Park, I'm like, and the course is in good shape too. Like it wasn't,
Yep.
like you said, we're in the dormant time, but greens were great. Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, that's one that, it feels like the Scottish experience, right? If you could take that Scottish experience and bring it over here, and, affordable, accessible, welcoming, like that is the answer. How can we do that, and replicate that across the country? And, there's some great municipal golf courses out there doing that, and there's some great public courses out there doing that. And you know, that's what we're hoping for, right?
Yeah,
That's the experiences. I think every place we've gone where we've played one of those types of courses, that's one of the highlights of the trip, even though the golf course might not be the highlight.
yeah. I mean, especially with the push right now of everything being built as resort
Super exclusive
or super
or
exclusive.
resort.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Which is unattainable for most people. And I mean, even the obviously the Bandon model, the what is it, the like Sand Hills, like all that, to where you're gonna spend a lot of money, you're gonna stay there for a while, and it's gonna be maybe once in a lifetime or once every 10-year trip.
Yep.
um
Yeah, and then having to book that out 2 years in advance, 3 years in
yeah
advance, like that's becoming a little bit challenging for the average person as well. Like planning a family, work, like you don't know where you're going to be in 3 years.
yeah
A lot of people, and so having to make a tea time halfway across the world and commit to that far in advance and pay for that far in advance is a tough gig. So yeah, I hope one day our real goal comes to fruition as part of the channel, and we've talked about this in shooting series of how can we go to a city, have the best experiences and rounds of golf, and then maybe highlight us trying to our final day get around to golf somewhere private using the PGA network or our TrackMan network or whatever it may be. So I really hope that comes to fruition, because I think there's some awesome, like, let's go play this muni, and then, we spend those 2 days making calls, sending emails, trying to get something lined up, and then highlight the best pro that wins.
Love it.
Oh,
After
but what was
Dallas,
next?
I
Yeah,
think we went
that's where it
to
gets hairy for
I
me,
I,
is after Dallas.
I think Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh.
Was it Pittsburgh or Oregon? That's
It,
I think it was
it was
Pittsburgh. I
Pittsburgh
think you're
because
right.
Oregon was right when I left track. My
Oh
last
yeah.
day in TrackMan was in Oregon.
Yep.
And so Pittsburgh was next at the sales meeting. A lot of
Yep.
these are centered around, sales meeting or
Work trips, baby.
Yep.
Work trip golf.
Someone's got to pay for that rental car, but um,
Not anymore.
yeah, that's true. So Pittsburgh was great, man. We to set the
That
stage a little
was
bit, it was you, me, our friend Jeff, who worked at TrackMan at the time, and Mark, who also worked at TrackMan at the time. And
Yep.
we were like, hey, we got to get some golf in. We're in Pittsburgh. We were doing a scramble event at, I don't even know the place.
Castle Clubhouse is all I know.
Yeah. It's stupid golf course. But it was fine. Good condition, weird holes.
Great conditions.
Yes.
Very weird holes, but also very picturesque holes.
Yes. 100%.
I thought that was a super fun golf course. Like if you get to play the generic, tree lined or most munis are a simple layout. That is something completely different. That feels like a resort. That feels like you're not in Pittsburgh, right? Like you're hitting these tee shots downhill 100 feet, 100 yards. Like it was a different experience, and I think that fits the bill where it was. But yeah, that wasn't even close to the highlight of that trip.
No.
From a golf course perspective.
The drive out, because we stayed in downtown, and the drive to get out there was awesome. Like that was one of my favorite parts. You're just kind of winding through, rural, Pennsylvania, like that whole area. I mean, just beautiful country, right? And then you get out there, and you're totally right. 100-foot drops and really good greens. And so yeah, we had a good time. That was our first round. Then we went to Laurel.
Yeah, so that was pre-trip, right, or pre-sales meeting. So we got in a little early, played that day one, had our all of our meetings, and I think we need to address. We had Bob Ford in there talking to us, and Bob's one of the old pros, right? Bob is a a PGA professional of the history, and what we heard and learned was different from our experiences. And I think that's another one where we need some more of the old school rigor in there. We
Yeah.
need that, it's a little bit of hard work, but in the same breath, he was very hardworking. Like
Yeah.
you're working 90-hour weeks, 50 weeks a year. And it was no family, but he did help people get to some unbelievable places.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth noting. Like that kind of professional is they're training you for the hard times and preparing you for what's to come. So yeah, that was great to learn from him. I think we both had some interesting takeaways from that, but I mean,
Well,
any thoughts you want to add?
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how realistic it is nowadays to say, you're going to be the pro at Oakmont and Seminole, right?
Yep.
Like at the same time, right? Essentially, right? I mean,
Yep. For
that,
years at the
yeah,
same
for
time.
years, and I don't know when that switched to like not a figurehead role, but kind of hey, Bob is just
Honorary.
honorary. I know he put in the work. I know obviously he grinded to get there, but it's just not a realistic path for anyone that's coming up and it's honestly kind of when we started going through the PGM and all that. I mean, the big thing was, hey, you're going to play a lot of golf. You're gonna, and it was one of those things that maybe was true, right? Like back when
Yep.
they were involved. Yeah, you were at the club for 100 hours, but a lot of that was golfing with members
Mm-hmm.
in the dining room, having dinner, doing all that. Where, you couldn't even do that when I worked at Craig Ranch. Like even at a place like Craig Ranch, like you're not sitting in the dining room with a member. That's not allowed.
Yep.
You're not playing golf unless you do it off the clock. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's not realistic to say, hey, I'm going to be the pro at Seminole and Oakmont. And that's, I think, the vibe that I got was, it was very much just, you need to work hard and you can be me type of deal. And
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. That's the vibe I got. I mean, I don't want to discredit what the work he put into it. And I know there's still some really like A+ jobs out there. I mean, we talked about Chris Rowe at Whispering Pines and others, but there needs to be a more realistic path to, talk to these 18-year-olds that are getting into the PGM school. Like what can I actually do?
Oh yeah. Agreed. Yeah. It's there's a weird mix of some of the older style PGA professional and the younger style PGA professional coming in, and it's the just different styles clashing, right? There's some that want the more sustainable hours, or some that hey, we need to be working doing this, and it's just the industry is in a weird place because of those conflicting ideas. So I'm in favor of the new trends. I think we both are, like just making the golf pros life easier, more fun. um you want to go play golf. I think that was part of the problem in our early days, was you were working 70, 80 hours a week in the shop, on the range, marshaling, whatever it was. And then the opportunity was to go out and play golf. And it's like, man, I've spent the entire week here. No, like
Right.
I don't want to go play golf. So it was offered, but it wasn't always accepted because of some of those reasons. And so it's, yeah, I'm glad where the industry's going. I'll fight for that, keep supporting that, and I think we're going to keep highlighting some of those pros that are pushing in that direction and trying to make it better.
Yeah, and I mean, you hinted on it at the start of this podcast about pros that own their shop and how, I mean, that's obviously very far few in between at this point.
Yep.
We saw that a little bit in Scotland, and funny enough, my old pro at Craig Ranch, like he just got a new head pro job in North Carolina, and he owns the shop. He had to, go to the bank, get a loan, buy everything
Yep.
from the previous guy, and all that, and I mean that's a big risk, but we talked about we hear it all the time in our PGM or PGA education videos of you just got to be valuable to the club, right? You have to increase your value. You got to,
Yep.
and I think that's great on the surface, but when you're owned by Invited or you're owned by Troon or managed by Troon, they don't care about that aspect of it. They just want you to be valuable to the bottom line by, being there, checking people out, providing good service and all that. It's not, the relationship aspect is kind of gone, right? And
Yep.
so yeah, I think
That's it.
yeah,
Few and far between
yeah,
from the private front. I think you see that a lot more in the public space now. I think that's where the relationship piece still lives, and they want to, learn about your experiences and talk to you and help you play better golf and have more fun at their property because they want you to return. And some of these other places, like you said, it's a factory, and
yeah,
they want you pushed in and out, 4 hour round, get out of here, or go spend money in the restaurant, right? And so it's not, yeah, you're not building those same relationships, or it's not prioritized as much as it used to be,
yeah,
and pushed. And I have a book. This reminds me, I have a book of from Bill Morrock, the head pro at Eugene Country Club, and it's like service, how to provide world class customer service, and that was the book he gave me day one and said, read this, and this is everything you need to know about how to be a great PGA professional. And so I got very fortunate that, I got to work for him right out of college and kind of learn some of those older values and build those relationships and actually want to learn and talk to people and hear their history and try to help them have more fun and play better or whatever it is. So, there's still a lot of them out there, but yeah,
yeah.
yep.
It's hard. It's hard, man. It's I think the new way of doing things has just killed the curiosity of golf pros. It used to be, just like you said, you're trying to learn people's history. You want to share stories about where you went and all that. And now it's, you show up, you clock in, you clock out, and that's
Yep.
just not the way a PGA pro, how we were trained and kind of brought up and all that. So, we went to
Yeah,
Laurel next, man.
back end of
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Yeah. Laurel was, special. I mean,
it was
obviously logo was amazing.
unbelievable. Yep.
But interesting here, and this ties back to what we just talked about. The way we got onto Laurel Valley was not through the PGA, not through TrackMan. It was through our buddy Mark, who's a Golf Digest rater and also a member at a club out in California.
Yep.
And that's a pretty common theme and on some of these trips that we'll talk about here soon of, we're trying to get into some private clubs and we have no way in unless we're a rater, or a member at a club that they can charge back, certain things to, or have a reciprocal, thing back as well. But the Golf Digest rater thing is crazy. That's where, we went to school for what, 4.5, 5 years, specifically to be
Thousands of dollars.
And, it just takes
Still
getting on a
continue
list
education and
yeah. And you can be a Golf Digest rater and you can really call any place in America and get on, barring a few of them, right? Augusta and others. But, I think that's wrong, right?
It's a wild part of the game.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's and I don't know, first episode, second episode, you alluded to this, but there is an idea of calling as PGA professionals and as Golf Digest raters and seeing opportunities that exist and what that looks like. But yeah, it's a again, it feels like the days of old that wasn't a thing. It feels like the PGA professional was more valued and respected and appreciated, and some of that now is hey, this golf course is highly rated, and we don't need a PGA professional's opinion on that. So we don't, value you coming out and playing the course, whereas we're over here going, we don't care about the rating. Like, we just
Right.
want to experience a really cool golf course, and a historic designer, or whatever it may be. We're there for different reasons than, to boost the profile. And so, yeah, it's not fun, but it is nice to say that we have some of these
Yep.
courses on the resume, and that we have played some of them, and thankful for those experiences. But yeah, hopeful that maybe some of these messages change that, and a few more PGA pros can have some of those experiences.
We got to talk first tee shot at Laurel. So
That we alluded
Laurel's
to this.
Laurel's old school, right? First, the back tee on number 1 is, I don't know, 5 steps away from, it feels like, the clubhouse door or the patio, whatever that was right there.
Yep.
I mean, it's tight.
Starter shack was right there as
Yep.
well, or the rolling stage that they had, and
Yep.
sending you off.
And to me, like, that is, when you see that, I have to hit from there. When I
yeah.
see tee markers on the putting green, have to hit there. Like,
Yep.
that's just part of it. It doesn't mean that I'm not nervous. I'm going to take a chunk out of the putting green. Or so Laurel, there's the driving, or like coming into Laurel's on the left-hand side. So you have the driveway coming in, clubhouse right behind you. Right is kind of open. All I'm thinking about is I'm about to put this in the road and hit,
A
someone's
Bentley.
Bentley. So, yeah. Or I'm going to take a chunk so bad out of this turf, that they're not even going to let us tee off. They're going to send us home.
That's
right.
it. Yep.
So first tee shot for me goes 100 yards right. I mean, it was, it was not even there's no squeeze on that. That was just a
Block.
yeah. I was going to make sure that club head did not touch the ground at all. But what were your feelings teeing that ball up?
I mean, we warmed up beforehand. So leading up, that was at 8 in the morning, I think, was our tee time. And it was an hour drive. And we were all up until probably 1, 2 in the morning the night before, last night of the sales meeting, hanging out with all the friends from across the country and world. So it was red-eyed. We were all tired. I think I was the one driving. Maybe it was you on that one. But yeah, we got there, and 20 minutes of warm up, did not do anything. I was as tight as could be, and then, yeah, just same thing, nervous. Like, you're inches away from the pro, from a starter, an assistant, and we have caddies, and the tees we see are, what, 7,200 yards, and it's soaking wet. It had been raining for the days before, and everybody's telling us you should probably play up a tee, and we're like, nah, we're long enough. And so the false confidence paired with the tightness, the sleepiness, and the nervousness, yeah, I snap hooked it. I did the opposite of you. I hit it in that bunker left, and yeah, the rest is history. We moved up a box on the next hole.
Yeah. I think that as my ball was in the air, the caddies were like, yeah, come on up.
Come
Yeah,
on up.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you guys are done.
Y'all look the part, but you don't play the part.
No, they didn't give us another chance. So, but overall, I mean, the course was unbelievable. I mean, obviously perfect condition, but
Yeah.
the layout was
Yeah.
great, extremely walkable, which, yeah, I love, being able to go from green to tee box very easily.
Yep.
What's that? There was was it 18 with a par 5 coming down over water? Was that 9?
18, it was definitely over water. I think you hit it uphill, and then you could either lay up left or go at the green. That was kind of tucked over the water with the clubhouse in the background.
Yep.
Yeah. But 10, right? 10, we stop at the shack. I'm not playing too well that day. I think it was you and me that were partners that day.
Yep.
Go on to 10, play the hole. I like flub a chip, blade a chip, on the green. So then I toss my ball in the water after the hole, and 11 tee box is about 50 yards away, and our bags are about 200 yards in the other direction. And so I had to full sprint while they're putting out, grab a golf ball, and try to meet them back on the tee on the next hole.
Well, the typical caddy thing too, where they leave your bag, they're like, "Hey, just take a driver." That is
Yep.
something we've talked about the caddy thing a lot. We'll maybe talk about that in another episode, but on, do we like caddies? Do we not? How do they make you feel and all that? But one of the things is that bothers me is they just give you a club, and like on that hole, like we just have a driver. We have no idea what the tee box looks like. We're kind of trusting them. I get it. We should trust them. They're the caddies, but sometimes you get up on the tee and you're like, oh, actually, this doesn't set up well. Like, let me just hit a 3-iron out there and I'll have a longer shot in. But you can't do that because your bag is 250 yards down the fairway.
Yep.
So yeah,
lessons learned. Yeah,
Yep.
well, like you said, definitely get into that. I think that was one of our first experiences together with a caddy.
Yeah.
I don't think we had any before that, and they were pretty good. There was some highlights in there, but yeah, I think we've definitely had some bad ones and some really good ones, but it's been a up and down history with that, and a lot of heated debates of, are we ever doing that again?
Yep. So throughout this trip, are we playing a
like a round
Robin, but we're doing 9, 9, and 18, right? Front 9, back 9, 18 for each round. And so each
swapping partners.
Yeah, swapping partners out of the 3 rounds, we obviously each got paired together. And so after first round, I don't even know who was partnered at the first round. It was me and because it was me and you at Laurel. So it was me and Mark the first round, and you and Jeff. We tie the front 9, we tie the back 9.
One of us won the front 9 by 3, and then the other won the back 9 by 3. And then it came out to a perfect tie, no money lost.
Yep.
We go to Laurel, swap teammates. That's where it was me and you. And then same thing. I think we were 5 down on the front and then 5 up on the back for Laurel. And then I can't even remember the last course.
It's
another Nicholas. Nevillewood. Great logo.
Great logo.
Alternate logo.
Yep.
Alternate.
I played well out there. It was, another typical kind of neighborhood. I mean, actually a club that's like, you could, if you live in the area, you could be a member out there. I mean, decent enough golf course, really great, clubhouse, patio, really good food. If you want to have a family, like I think it would be a decent place to be a member, if you were in the area. But
and they were very welcoming. I mean, they we
incredible.
were rushing from Laurel to there because that was another 45-minute drive, and our tee time was like 50 minutes after. So, we were rushing, and they brought us hot dogs and a variety of drinks on that first hole. And it was, they just helped us out in a lot of ways, and made the experience great and above and beyond. And I think that's another invited or club corp style course. So it is cool to see that some of those pros do still, take pride in their role in that profession. And I can speak for a guy here in the Twin Cities that's like that, came from another club that was a club corp and moved into another private club, and let us out at during my wedding that weekend and played some golf. So they're out there, and we're gonna find them and we're gonna highlight them. But yeah, that round was another one. It was me and Mark, and I think you and Nishi went up a couple on the front, and then we had Mark just black out on the back and play some of the best golf I think I've ever seen in my life.
And Jeff had to make a sliding 5-footer on 18 to have everything tie throughout the entire trip.
Entire match. I mean, the entire trip. Yeah.
Just a gentleman's game. I mean, we and then ended with a great dinner. Had some steaks
on the patio, looking out over the golf course.
Two things we have to touch on, or maybe one, is the drive that, you thought you outdrove me. You made a big deal about it. You wouldn't get out of the cart. I need you to go into that story.
So yeah, so Austin and I were battling that day, and I hit one I thought really well, and he did not hit one well, and so I thought I was past him, and we get up to the ball, and I thought he was pulling the old gag of like, hey, this is your ball, and then I get out and look at it, and he's like, I gotcha, and it's mine. And so I just refused to get out of the cart for, I don't know, 4 minutes, just sitting there laughing, thinking it's hilarious that he's trying to get me and I'm getting him back. And the group pulls up on us on the tee, and Austin's just persistent, like, dude, this isn't a joke. Seriously, get out and hit the shot. They're waiting for us. Their hands are on their hips. And so I finally get out, and sure enough, he outdrove me by about 20 yards.
I think Nishi fell out of the golf cart. He was laughing so hard.
Oh man, yeah, that was the highlight. I'm really curious about the second one because I think I know what it is, but I also don't.
I think the second one I was going with Mark, just somehow, I mean,
17.
Yeah, par 3. No, I don't think he even knows where his golf ball is. Like, he can't see anything, and he just sticks it to 3 feet, makes birdie. And that flipped the match to where, we ended up kind of tying up and all that. So that was
on top of you hitting it to 5 feet, right? First, and then he knocks it to 3. You miss the putt, and he drains it, and almost drove us off a cliff the hole before.
Yeah. and then 18. I'm hit the best iron shot I could ever hit. Over
set
top
it
of the
up.
flag.
First of all, there is a slope like this behind the hole, and I'm not kidding.
Like 45-degree slope. I mean,
we all hit it 5 to 10 yards long, and it rolls back short of the hole 5-10 feet from there.
Yeah, and the pin's at the bottom, and I literally, it stops in a spot that is inconceivable to where it just stopped because my next putt, you basically touch it with the toe of the putter, and I'm 20 feet past the hole, not even close. Like, there's no way to stop it. So
the best part is you were 10 feet above the hole and 20 feet from the hole.
Yeah.
And then there was 0% chance unless you wedged it that ball was going to get within 10 feet. Like, it was that was what tied the match right there, that shot.
Yeah, that was a great trip. I mean, again, the weather was great, and we had great company. All 4 of us get along really well, and that was awesome. So Pittsburgh was my second to last trip with TrackMan. Then we go to Oregon.
Yep.
Oregon was my last kind of TrackMan trip. I was finishing up a few things out there, maybe, and we kind of
that one was just a buddy's trip.
Oh, just a straight trip. Okay.
Yeah, so that was you, me, Adeline, and Jeff. And I think Jeff had to go out to the coast. He was covering Oregon at the time. So he had to go out there anyways. And so we just said, hey, let's plan a trip around this. This is Austin's favorite place on the earth. He will talk about Gearhart nonstop on this podcast. So
I will.
We wanted to all kind of see it and get our experiences out there. But we lined up a pretty good trip on that one. And it was just, through my work history out in the area, Jeff's connections, and we put together a really cool trip.
Yeah, first we obviously fly into Portland. Our friend Jeff lives in Portland, so we set up Oswego Lake first. Which, man, that was awesome. I mean,
super fun track.
Another place where if you live in that area, that's a place I'm going to try to be a member of. Yeah.
Yep. Just phenomenal conditions. The tree line. The trees in that part of the country, just 100+ feet, every one of them, and they're everywhere. It makes you feel like you're in your own space, right? There's a busy road to your right, but there's 50 trees in the way, and you feel like you're separated from that. So It's a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, that was, I think one thing I remembered out there, I mean, the greens were in excellent condition. Like, I mean, I think they had some member tournament going on as well. They
Yep.
had a great TrackMan Bay set up, for the winter time. But, who do we run into out there?
I think it was Spencer.
Yeah.
Just random out of nowhere. Like we all used to caddy together at Whispering Pines. He went to Sam Houston. And yeah, hadn't seen each other in 15 years, 10, 12, 15 years, somewhere in there. And just see him, and you and I are both like, Spencer, like, hey man,
Like, what do
what
you
the heck are you doing here? And just, yeah, I mean, it tells you how small the golf world is. Like, places that we've gone, we run into people all the time that, we went to school with, or played on a golf course with somewhere else, or whatever it may be. It's just, the golf community is small, and the more trips you go on and the more places you go, the more you start running into some of the same faces. And that's a cool thing about the game, is it's the community around it.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, Oswego, I had a great time out there. I think that was the place I played the best, on the trip, but then we
Were you
get it.
playing with me that round?
Yeah, we did pretty well that round. I think we both,
Yeah.
yeah, we put it on them
I,
because that,
I remember chipping in on 18 for Eagle,
yep,
and I think I shot like one over with that, so
yep.
I was jacked.
Yeah,
The trip
that
was
whole
off hot.
trip, you were
The
pretty
game
much
was
the ringer on that
primo.
trip. Yeah. But then we get out to the coast, right? We got to get out. I mean, there's no better drive, in my opinion, getting out to the coast. From there, I don't
The
know if that time of,
anticipation's building
oh,
the whole way.
I don't know if that time of the
You're
year, the
amped.
trees are, yeah, I've been out there in the fall where the trees are turning yellow. You're driving through kind of all the bridges and tunnels, and then we get out to the coast, man, and we start with Highland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Step one, straight to Highland. Little, yeah, what, 9-hole course? Is it all threes and fours, or was there a five in there?
I think it's all threes and fours.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, the pro shop was incredible. I think that's where we spent the most money. It was
Yep.
probably the least noteworthy golf course we played, and the logo's great. The pro is, I think he owns the shop, and he might own the golf course.
Yeah, and I think it's run by the mayor of the,
Oh, okay.
yeah, or he's a volunteer mayor, but he owns and operates Highland and Manzaniti Links down in down south as well.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, but he did an impeccable job, right? Phenomenal head covers, valuables pouches, shirts, pants. I mean, anything you could think of, they had it in there, and it, again, great logo. They do a great job, and so we had a blast spending money, and then just go out and walk the course. The four of us. It's quiet. You're just with nature, man.
Oh,
And that walk was one of the best golf walks I think I've ever had. And just, yeah, seeing you pass by the water on that one hole. You don't really ever, see the water a ton, but you just know it's there. And yeah, it was
I
an
mean,
incredible
as
experience.
sun was kind of going down, that little par three, it's like 60 yards hitting right towards the water. It just,
Yep.
yeah, if you're in the area, you have to stop by either, in the morning and the night, and just, yeah, play nine,
Yep.
maybe take six
Well worth
clubs.
it.
Like, yeah, it's totally worth it. And then after
Yeah.
that, we go to Gearhart, and this
The
is,
homeland.
I mean, this is, I think I probably have a Zillow up somewhere looking at houses, like trying to figure out, can I get a job out in Gearhart? That, the problem is it's an expensive spot out there. But, found out about Gearhart through, obviously a video, and kind of learned about it, and was like, man, seems like a pretty cool spot, and go out there. And it's what you mentioned earlier. It's kind of, you could pick that up and put it in Scotland somewhere, or Ireland. And that's the community golf spot. And
100%.
it's a small town. all local, local bakery, local coffee shop, local restaurant. And once you get outside of Gearhart, then you're in Seaside, and it's kind of, more of your like tourist trap type of
Coastal
area.
town. Yeah.
Yeah. And coast town. But Gearhart, you're kind of insulated. And it's a spot where, you could go out there and play, I think, really fun golf. It's not going to be, it's not tipping out at 7,500 yards. It's, you're not going to, um, have crazy elevation changes, but what they did out there, removing the trees, and then, I mean, the mixture of like drivable holes, but a 270-yard par 3 on the back 9 and a 110-yard par 3 on the back 9 as well, and then a 650-yard par 5 on 18. Like they use the land really, really well, but then for me, it's also the clubhouse, and sitting outside by the fire, glass of wine, maybe a cigar, and just like, I mean, there's nothing better to kind of after the round. You're hearing you can't see the ocean, but you're hearing the waves kind of crashing in from from across the sand dunes, and the place, I don't know, it does something to me. It just does.
Magical.
Yeah.
I mean, just you explaining it, like when's the next trip out there? I'm ready now.
Let's get going. Yeah. We have
but I mean, the
highlight
there that we have to talk about was the near-death experience.
Yes.
So we get in that night,
and we're staying right there. They have great condos right across the street where you can just walk to the course. We're staying right there. We can walk out and go to the ocean.
On the beach, right? Like, I think you could, maybe there's the dunes, so you couldn't see the ocean, but you knew it was right there. And so that night we decided to walk out to the beach, take a view, and just get some exercise. And we're out by the water. I think it was like a Ford Bronco comes driving 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour straight at the ocean. It's pitch black, so they have no clue we're there. And then they get 30 feet from the water and just slam it hard right straight at us. And again, never saw us. And we split. You and I went in the ocean. Jeff and Kevin went inland. And thank God that truck just went straight between us.
Yep. And I, to this day, I don't think they had any idea that we were there.
No. And it maybe last second they saw, Nishi and Kevin diving, but that was one of the more wild experiences. Like, I just never thought that that was going to transpire the way it did.
At that point, we were done with the beach for the night.
Yep. We went straight back. We started making s'mores.
Yep.
Because we bought like $70 worth of s'mores materials.
I think you bought so much firewood as well. Absurd amount of firewood. And I don't even think we were allowed to make a fire at that time. I think it was a burn ban or whatever, but
that's why we had to run it inside.
Favorite hole at Gearhart, or any memory that you had from that time?
Well, the memory would be Adeline ripping it off of a beer can, right? And to build that story up a little bit, the hole before was the par 3 that was a driver, 270, and he hit it about 270, but it was sadly 270 yards right. And so then he had like a hybrid in, I believe, onto a par 3,
right,
after he hit driver on the tee. So he was frustrated, teed it up on a beer can the next hole, and I don't think I've ever seen a golf ball leave the face as fast as that one did. And that was one of the more incredible shots.
He's my partner, and I'm grinding trying to keep this team together while he's worried about teeing up on a beer can. He's worried about what music he's playing on his phone. Not even it's like his turn to hit.
Not a group music either. It was just Adeline's music.
Just the most, you can't play golf to the music he was playing. And at some point in the back nine, he had given up, and we all hit our tee shots, and he still hasn't looked up from his phone. He's just trying to find the right music for him to hit. And I'm literally grinding to try to keep this together. I think I shot like 1 or 2 over on the back to try to keep it close, but you had already kind of blown it out at that point. But It was a 2-on-1 handicap match at Gear
It was
Heart.
100% 2-on-1. Oh man! And then that drive from there down to Eugene, but through Tillamook first.
Oh.
Stopped at the cheese factory. That was awesome.
After I forced him, Kevin, to pull over so I could drive. He's driving. The speed limit was probably 55. He's driving 35, maybe 30, and cars are honking. Cars are flying around, and he's just telling a story, looking at me, has no idea what's going on. I was like, dude, pull the car over. You're done. Like you're just your day is done. You've already you're done. So we get to the cheese factory, and that was awesome.
He got his food. He was
Yep.
happy after that.
Yep.
We got him happy.
Got him some food. Got him over to what is it? What's the store he went to? And he not Pemberton.
Pendleton.
Pendleton. Yeah, it's probably
Pendleton.
probably
Yeah.
dropped $1,000 on some flannel blankets and stuff. I mean, just incredible.
He was happy boy after all that.
But the
was
drive
a good part.
after that, getting into Eugene, it was
apocalypse.
Dude,
it was the apocalypse.
Where did that fire come from?
I mean, they have fires, every year, every other year, and it was a fire that got a little bit out of control, and I mean, ash was falling. It was clouds of smoke, so it was really dark when the sun was still out, and then you had, the sun coming through very red. So it felt very apocalyptic driving in. And then we went to the game, the University of Oregon Ducks game, football game. And I'd been to a few before when I was up there, but I mean, that's all they have in Eugene, right?
Yep.
Like there's no professional teams. You really just have is there any professional teams now? Portland Trailblazers, maybe?
No, they're up in Portland. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was my first time in Eugene,
only...
first time at a game there. And you're right, like it's all about the Ducks there.
All about the Ducks. Yeah, they root hard. That was a blast. But again, like looking up and seeing that moon, it was just blood red. And then walking back to the hotel from the game was cool. And you're with your buddies and doing some cool stuff. And I think that was another, like, that day was one of my more fun days. We played golf in the morning. We go and stop at a cheese factory and tour that, and then we go to an Oregon Ducks football game. Like you get to see everything that the state offers, and live the life of an Oregon person for the day. And it's hard to beat those experiences and those times with the friends.
Yeah, that agreed. And we found a good restaurant. I can't remember where it was.
It's like a steakhouse, right?
Yeah, it was a little steakhouse, kind of
really good steaks,
tucked in a little alley. It was awesome. Then we played your spot,
Eugene Country Club, the former kicking grounds. And they had renovated it, right? So there's a lot of new things for me playing the course, and a lot of improvements, a lot of really great things that they did to the course. I know Austin did not like the trees at Eugene Country Club.
I did not have a fun day out there. That was I was probably a little hard on the course. I mean, obviously it's in great shape. There are some cool holes. I did feel like there was
you had a bad caddy.
I had a very bad caddy by you on a few holes. But I felt like a lot of the holes were just the trees were closing in on me. It was a lot of, I felt just tree line dead straight holes. Looking back they're like number 2, I think, is that par 3. That was
par 3.
That was
really long.
Probably the best shot I hit all day. It didn't even hit the green, but it was the best shot, I hit. And that's an extremely hard par 3. I think I hit 5-iron in there, and it's, you can't even see it land. That par 5 that you directed us incorrectly, that's a dumb hole. I'll say that. But I think the history of the club, and we got to talk to the pro that you worked, I believe you worked for him, and he showed us around, and again, like, we saw the membership you know, it's a great spot if you're in that area. I just did not play well.
Yeah, I mean the golf course is extremely difficult,
Yep.
as is, right? You know, one of the home clubs for University of Oregon. They hold amateur events. The Pacific, was it the Pacific Am or Pacific Coast Am? So it's a championship caliber golf course. And you know, we got lucky. The greens weren't rolling 13, and they can get there easily. And that just adds to the element of difficulty to that golf course. But the trees are tough. Like, you have to hit the golf ball straight. You have to play really smart. You have to play to spots on certain holes. And you know, again, your guide didn't give you the best advice on some of those holes for those spots, um, but yeah, I mean, we lined Kevin in on that round. We we brought him in. He played really well. And it was a lot of like, hey, you don't need to hit driver here. Like, just hit that driving iron or 3-wood and play smart. And if you keep it in play there, you can go low. That's my record low round is out there 67 from the back tees, and it was a tough condition day. And so it can be done, and it's rewarding when you do it. But yeah, if you're a little off, whether it be driver, short game, putter, it's going to be a tough day. It's going to be an experience.
I don't think I've ever seen you hit the ball straighter than I did that day. Like, you hit the ball pretty straight just in general, but your driver, I don't think moved 1 foot either direction all day. Like, it was
an impeccable driving day. Or just ball striking day in general. And I think, you know, a few more putts would have fallen, and I might have been flirting with tying that record. But yeah, it was they're in there, right? And I think we've both seen each other play extremely well. And you know, hopefully there's some more of that to come on some of these future trips, and see what happens. You know.
Well, yeah, that's so I don't think we missed anything, at least up until that point, right? I mean, going back through it, Michigan, Vegas, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Oregon. Yeah, nothing else. I think
nothing else that I know of. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we'd like to get into, I think this is probably going to be a 2-parter, because we have a California trip that, dude, I don't even know where to start with that. Like that, there's a lot of history of that trip. There was the trip that we were gonna take instead of the California trip that I think we should highlight.
Two trips we were gonna take.
100%. Maybe we should highlight all the courses that we were gonna play instead. But I think what I wanted to kick it to you for is kind of, not only we talked about Stymied at the beginning, but you know, tying this all back together of the trips that we took and the people we met. And, you know, you mentioned a little bit of just, you know, 4 guys going on a golf trip, and, you know, meeting the pro at Highlands, and meeting, you know, even the pro at Gearhart. We didn't really touch on him, but he came out to the first tee and gave us a history lesson of Gearhart, you know, on the first tee. He made us feel welcome. You know, he took care of us, like that type of stuff. And I know he does that for a lot of other people as well. And he's the owner of that place, is the owner of Columbia Sportswear as well. So that, I mean, I know that that's kind of built in from that, you know, from that owner. So yeah, the people we met. So talk about kind of how that ties into, you know, what we want to do going forward.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's, again, the stymied is feeling stuck, right? And how do we get unstuck? And we talk about it, right? We're going to sit here on this podcast, and we're going to have these discussions, and we're going to highlight these really awesome places, and cool stories in golf, and the good things. And then we're going to talk about some of the bad, and, you know, what to stay away from and what to be cautious of and aware of. And so that's one piece of it, is just talking it out, and you know, hashing the good and the bad from each other, and just getting into that. But then the next is actually going out and interacting with those people, right? Having those conversations, sitting down, learning from these professionals and industry, you know, people, and just learning, right? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? How are you doing it? And just better understanding how other pros are improving the game of golf and making it more welcoming and more fun. And then trying to implement that. Like, how can we implement that in the podcast and in our future content and just make the game more fun and get people unstuck. And I think that's the trips piece, right? Is the most fun that we've ever had on golf trips are when we're in groups. And it's not a 12-person group like Cabot. It's not always a 4-person group. It's sometimes 2, sometimes 3, but like being there with your friends and having those really fun conversations with people around the golf course and learning something new and the history and taking something back with you to your job, whether it's golf or non-golf. Like, there's just so many great things that can be had on a golf trip. And so I think we want to highlight that and we want to talk about that and we want to go on trips and show some of those experiences and try to help people have some of those experiences themselves.
No, I think you're spot on, and even moving into the Squeeze Fade podcast is just really an extension of that, and we'll do more long form things. Like we're an hour and 45 in here. I think it flew by, but we'll do more long form talking through trips. We'll get into we hit on it at the beginning, but what we think about some of the rules or some of the changes in the golf industry and how that affects the PGA Pro and how that'll be the lens that we try to look at stuff through is how does that affect the PGA Pro, because that's our history, right? So
That's who we are.
yep. But yeah, no, I think it's been a great episode. An hour 45, like it flew by, man. It's been good, but I think next time we're going to touch on California. That's a great trip. The trip that we could have taken. Maybe we'll get into any updates that have happened with the USGA stuff. I know there's a little bit there, but yeah, we have a lot to talk about in California.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the beauty is there's still 4 or 5 trips we didn't get to dig into today, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to, and looking at the time, we now know we aren't. But yeah, we have a lot of fun, our history and experiences still to share, and definitely want to share, more, like you said, from our lens of the industry and the game and the history and start digging into some of the off-course experiences and the coffee shops and
exactly the restaurants. Like that's some of the stuff,
Yep.
Even on our trips we just highlighted, going to certain restaurants or, grabbing a drink after the round or a cigar lounge, which we'll get into in California.
Yep.
All that adds to, and I think for me is not maybe not as important, but close to as important as the golf. Like of course the golf is going to be fun and we're going to find good places and highlight that, but it's the car rides and the restaurants and all that really really gets me going for sure.
Yeah, the music choices, the
Right.
the slow and fast drivers, and yeah,
Yep.
no, yeah, it's I think we're super excited to just continue doing this and keep talking and keep sharing and keep learning, most importantly, and but yeah, to sign us off, thanks for sticking around, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to continuing.
Peace.
Later.